take your seats and welcome to today's Wing Staff Agency's Director's Call. Thank you for joining us both in person and virtually. Our agenda today includes the presentation of a few decorations and awards to recognize our top performers. Additionally, the shirts, Lieutenant Colonel James and Mr. Craver will discuss some updates across the wing and take any questions you have at the end of the event. Also, we will have hails and farewells to say hello to our new airmen and bye to those departing.
All right, so I know, thank you very much, Sergeant Schombacher. Sometimes before these, we like to recognize some distinguished performers, superior performers within the wing, and I want to just bring up somebody real quick and give them a coin. Is Sergeant Evangelista out on the crowd today? Where is she at? There, come on up here. So Master Sergeant Evangelista, she came over from the Med Group to help out with our inspection general team, and she's done a phenomenal job. The feedback I've gotten from you, from Lieutenant Colonel Killings and the whole team, has just been overwhelmingly positive. And, you know, transitioning in right before a big inspection, whether it was virtual or not, you know, the performance and the leadership you provided to the team in the transition from Sergeant Saunier and coming in has just been outstanding. And I wanted to recognize you publicly, give you a coin, and say thank you for all the hard work you've done and all the leadership you've provided. So.
At this time, we will begin with the presentations. Chaplain Parker, please come forward. Attention to orders. Major Brandon N. Parker distinguished himself in the performance of outstanding service to the United States as Deputy Joint Base Chaplain, 11th Wing, Joint Base Anacostia, Bowling, Washington, District of Columbia. During this period, Major Parker's superb leadership was displayed by providing 1,140 religious opportunities, reaching over 70,000 military personnel and families. Additionally, he was instrumental in realizing over $1 million in chapel tithes and offerings funds, mobilizing 437 volunteers to complete more than 236 community service hours, saving $929,000 in federal funding. Furthermore, he instituted vital public health sanitation practices for all chapel facilities and in-person programs, protecting 5,000 visitors. Moreover, as a Joint First Champion, Major Parker was instrumental in providing 250 meals and distributing $8,800 to Coast Guard members and furloughed personnel during a critical time. In addition, he helped shape the chapel annex of the Joint Base Memorandum of Agreement, ensuring critical manning and funding. Major Parker also coordinated the assignment of 4 new religious affairs airmen and 4 new chaplains, bringing Bowling Chapel manning up to 90% for the first time in 10 years. Finally, he transitioned the chapel services from in-person to virtual worship during coronavirus disease 2019, reaching an excess of 14,000 airmen and families, ultimately contributing to the chapel being the 2020 11th Wing Staff Agency's Team of the Year. These singularly distinctive accomplishments of Major Parker reflect great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. Master Sergeant Poor, please come forward. Attention to orders. Master Sergeant Doug Ding G. Poor distinguished himself in the performance of outstanding service to the United States as Religious Affairs Superintendent, 45th Space Wing, Patrick Air Force Base, Florida. During this period, Sergeant Poor directed comprehensive ministry plans and resiliency programs which provided around-the-clock support to 19,600 personnel for 3 wings, 3 detachments, and 54 associate units. Sergeant Poor's tenacious leadership reinvigorated the wing's resiliency program, which provided 4,000 hours of counseling, guaranteeing 24/7 crisis care for 2,300 airmen and averting 9 suicides. Moreover, Sergeant Poor skillfully managed facilities valued at $10 million and a budget of $248,000 while coordinating 410 events that strengthened the resiliency of 6,400 people who launched 57 rockets, placing $26 billion of assets on orbit. Furthermore, Sergeant Poor's savvy budget and project management skills enabled him to facilitate $625,000 of unfunded requirements to upgrade 2 chapel facilities, which enhanced the quality of life for 19,600 active duty and retiree members. Finally, Sergeant Poor's hard work, dedication to the mission, and care for airmen secured him the Wing Staff Agency's non-commissioned and senior non-commissioned officer of the quarter awards and led the team to being named Air Force Space Command's 2018 Best Medium Chapel. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Sergeant Poor reflect great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. Chaplain Hill, please come forward. Attention to orders. Captain Jeffrey M. Hill distinguished himself by meritorious service as chaplain, 45th Space Wing, Patrick Air Force Base, Florida. During this time, Chaplain Hill created an embedded chapel ministry center at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, providing over 1,880 visitation hours, resulting in a 700% increase of unit engagement from previous years and greatly enhancing the warfighter mission and morale. Additionally, he directed mission essential spiritual support for 57 launches that aided in the delivery of over $15 billion worth of assets being placed on orbit. Moreover, Chaplain Hill mentored 184 Defense Equal Opportunity Management Institute leaders on religious accommodations, preparing them for the Department of Defense-wide equal opportunity engagements. Furthermore, he piloted spiritual resilience and religious education programs for 9 groups, where he oversaw 320 volunteers during 147 services and 15 community events, while also providing 32 counseling sessions and spiritual support for 5 death notifications, leading to the enhancement of 10,000 members' lives. Finally, Chaplain Hill displayed next-level leadership for 2 months as Deputy Wing Chaplain during a critical chaplain leadership shortage, where he was essential to 2 different major command awards, the 2017 Air Force Space Command's Medium Chapel of the Year and Air Force Global Strike Command's Large Chapel of the Year. The distinctive accomplishments of Captain Hill reflect credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. Mr. Draper, please come forward. Attention to orders. In recognition of James Draper's distinguished performance as Museum Director, 45th Space Wing, Air Force Space Command, Patrick Air Force Base, Florida, from 1 November 2019 to 1 November 2020. During this period, the exceptional performance and ceaseless efforts of Mr. Draper resulted in the full restoration of one of only 4 existing United States Air Force Hound Dog missiles, ensuring the preservation of early Cape Canaveral Air Force Station launch and missile testing operations for many years to come. Additionally, Mr. Draper's outstanding leadership and exemplary foresight were instrumental in securing funding for and the creation of the first ever United States Space Force exhibit at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, capturing the establishment of the United States Space Force and helping fuel the imagination of future generations who visit the museum. The distinctive accomplishments of Mr. Draper reflects credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. Mr. Paul, please come forward. Attention to orders. In recognition of William Paul's distinguished performance as Museum Curator, 45th Space Wing, Air Force Space Command, Patrick Air Force Base, Florida, from 15 December 2019 to 1 November 2020. During this period, the exceptional performance and ceaseless efforts of Mr. Paul resulted in the full restoration of one of only 4 existing United States Air Force Hound Dog missiles, ensuring the preservation of early Cape Canaveral Air Force Station launch and missile testing operations for many years to come. Additionally, Mr. Paul's outstanding drive and exemplary forethought were instrumental in the creation of the first ever United States Space Force exhibit at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, capturing the establishment of the United States Space Force and providing the inspiration for the exhibit's content that will fuel the imagination of future generations who visit the museum. The distinctive accomplishments of Mr. Paul reflects credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. Next, we want to recognize all of our quarterly and annual award winners. Can I please have the following individuals come forward to accept your awards as your names are called? Our fourth quarter WSA award winners are, in the Airman category, A1C, Jennifer Antonosov, who is unavailable today. Next in the NCO category, we have Tech Sergeant Brian Thorne. Please come forward to accept your award. In the Senior NCO category, we have Master Sergeant Andrew Satran, who's unavailable today. In the CGO category, we have Captain Rindy Alexander, who's unavailable today. In the Civilian Cat 1 category, we have Jessica Morrison. Please come forward to accept your award.
Cash money.
In the Civilian Cat 2 category, we have Heidi Hunt. Please come forward to accept your award. In the Civilian Cat 3 category, we have Brian Dreyer, who also won at the wing. Please come forward to accept your award. In the Civilian Cat 5 category, we have Navardo Kayemeti, who also won at the wing. Please come forward to accept your award. Congratulations to all of our fourth quarter award winners. Next are the WSA annual award winners. And in the Airman category, we have A1C Khadijah Cole. Please come forward to accept your award. In the NCO category, we have Tech Sergeant Brian Thorne. In the Senior NCO category, we have Senior Master Sergeant Jeremiah Carpenter. In the CGO category, we have Chaplain Jeffrey Hill. In the FGO category, we have Major Tamara Sterling, who's unavailable today. In the Civilian Cat 1 category, we have Risa Noel. Please come forward to accept your award.
You need it, she'll buy it. Yes, money. Cha-ching, cha-ching. Another cha-ching.
In the Civilian Cat 2 category, we have Taylor Maggie Nave, who's unavailable today. In the Civilian Cat 3 category, we have Luis Estrada. Please come forward to accept your award. In the Civilian Cat 5 category, we have Gary J. Porter, who's unavailable today. In the Key Spouse category, we have Tiffany Matek, who's also unavailable today. In the Team Cat 1 category, we have Occupational Safety. Will a representative please come forward to accept the team award? In the Team Cat 2 category, we have SpaceX Special Interest Missions. Will a representative please come forward to accept the team award?
There you go.
Congratulations to all of our annual award winners. Thank you, Mr. Craver and Senior Master Sergeant Allen. Next is this quarter's hails and farewells. Please take a moment to review the slide. We would like to welcome our new arrivals to the team. Please give them a round of applause. We would also like to wish the following individuals and their families safe travels as they leave us. Please take a moment and review the slide. Thank you all for your hard work during this time here. At this time, I will hand things over to Master Sergeant Sharp to cover a couple of First Sergeant topics.
Got me? So nothing huge, just things to keep on your mind for the calendar coming up. 15 March, new 362903 is updating, so that'll come out with new information for your special duty tabs and whatnot, and uniform updates to include a tactical cap. And then on 1 April is the mandatory wear date for all the OCPs. So if you guys are still rocking on the ABUs, make sure you got your set of OCPs ready for the 1st. So that's all I got. Anybody got anything for me? Feel free to hit me up afterwards. I got some business cards right here on the front of the stage. So if you guys want to grab some and shoot me a text or a call, whatever. Thanks. Okay.
Now I would like to hand things over to Lieutenant Colonel James to cover a couple of commander's topics.
Couple's an overstatement. So, but you know, I'm really just gonna say a few things. First of all, let's give it up to all the award winners and all the award decorations and all the things that we gave out today. The you know, that process is a very long iterative process that we've been doing for a while, and I'm personally I want to thank the people, anyone who's involved in that process, but I do want to specifically call out Senior Allen has been the cornerstone or the keystone in making sure that we recognize our folks. We go through the process of the murder boards and we do that whole process. But behind that process is also all the people that show up to the murder boards, the supervisors, the peers, anyone who comes to the first shirt, who shows up to make those packages gleam and look better when we get them. So thank you for that, Senior, and everyone who's involved in that process. More importantly, looking at all those awards and looking at all that recognition, it starts with the individuals and the teams themselves. So thank you guys so much for all the hard work you do on behalf of all the Wing Staff Agency chiefs, Mr. Craver, and all of the leadership from Wing Staff Agency. We're kicking butt and we're continuing the mission regardless of all the challenges we've had over the past year, and as we continue to move through, you know, all the different COVID and other, you know, mission challenges that we have. So thank you again for that. Few things, just some more thank yous. It's really all I have to do is just say thank you. So one, thank you to the leadership teams on staying on your folks, especially the senior enlisted members, on making sure that all the military are taking care of their IMR and all their readiness stuff. I know that's been a focus, and I've been foot stomping it and foot stomping it and foot stomping it. But thank you so much for you guys providing that leadership and oversight, and thanks for the members for getting that taken care of. I know we continually ask, and there's a lot of changes and a lot of training systems coming down, going up, changing, transitioning. I know we got a lot of different technology that that the leadership's trying to push and trying to flatten some of the communication. So there's a lot of stuff changing as we move forward as a Wing Staff Agency and also as a wing to the Delta construct. And Mr. Craver may talk a little bit about that, but there is a lot of change going on, and we're trying to get the communication. We're trying to focus on the official communication down to you guys versus, you know, sending out things that are less solid or less, you know, decision-based. So, you know, you may seem like we're keeping you in the dark, but we're really not. We're trying to get you the facts and the stuff that's not going to change the next day when we tell you something. So bear with us as a leadership team, not just from Mr. Craver level, but all the way, you know, as a command team in the front office. Thank you also for those being patient for PCSing in and the in-processing. If the CSS can do anything better, please provide that feedback, because COVID, virtual, process changings, we've been trying to adapt as we move forward, as we go into what we all like to call the new norm, whatever that looks like. But please give us feedback, provide us information if you're out processing or in processing, and give us that feedback. So other than that, I am extremely proud and honored and humbled to be a part of the Wingstop agency team. It's a great group of people, great group of leadership and management, and thank you all for everything you do. If you ever need me, I have my open door. Look forward to hearing from you. Have a good one.
At this time, Mr. Ronald Gonzalez will discuss the Extremism Awareness Kickoff and show 3 videos.
Good afternoon, everybody. We've had all these neat awards. Everybody's getting positive influence, and I get to come up here and talk about extremism now, so it's a hard thing to follow. On 5 February, Secretary of Defense Austin sent out a memorandum making a one-day stand down throughout the Department of Defense for extremism within the ranks of the Department of Defense. What I'm going to do first is we're going to show 3 short videos from leadership, then we're going to talk for a few minutes, and then we'll move on from there.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lloyd Austin, Secretary of Defense. I want to thank you for participating in this stand down, and I thank your leadership for supporting this important initiative. And let me say right at the outset that there is not a single doubt in my mind that you take seriously your oath to the Constitution, and that you serve this country with honor and dignity and character, and that you believe in and uphold our core values each and every day. Many of you have deployed in harm's way to defend those values, and some of you are in harm's way at this very moment. And I want you to know that I'm grateful for that. I also want you to know that your fellow citizens are grateful for that. You see, we understand the sacrifices that you and your families are making to defend this nation. And we know a stand down like this can seem like yet another task to undertake, another burden. But the truth of the matter is, we need your help. I'm talking, of course, about extremism and extremist ideology. Views and conduct that run counter to everything that we believe in, and which can actually tear at the fabric of who we are as an institution. You know, I've seen this before. I've lived through it as a soldier and as a commander. It's not new to our country, and sadly, it's not new to our military. What is new is the speed and the pervasiveness with which extremist ideology can spread today, thanks to social media and the aggressive and organized and emboldened attitude that many of these hate groups and their sympathizers are now applying to their recruitment and to their operations. You know, it concerns me to think that anyone wearing the uniform of a soldier or a sailor, an airman, marine, or guardian, or Coast Guardsman would espouse these sorts of beliefs, let alone act on them. But they do. Some of them still do. We've got to be better than that. And not just for ourselves and the sort of work environment that we want to cultivate for each other, but also for the country and the very idea of what the United States represents to the world. And that's the discussion that I want you to have today. I want you to revisit the oath that you took when you joined the military and when you re-enlisted or got promoted. Read those words again. Consider what they really mean. And think about the promise that you made to yourselves and to your teammates and to your fellow citizens. I also want you to share with your leadership your own personal experiences with encountering extremists and extremist ideology in the military, should you have any. And I want your leadership to listen to those stories. And I want them to listen to any ideas that you might have to help us stamp out of the ranks the dangerous conduct that this ideology inspires. And so, I want you to remember also that we've got important things to do, ladies and gentlemen. We have serious commitments around the world, and people depend on us. So we can't afford actions and behavior that are at odds with our values and that undermine good order and discipline, that harm or harass and otherwise violate the oath that we share and the bonds of trust upon which we all rely. Again, thank you for what you and your families do each and every day. Thank you for upholding your oath, and thank you for helping us get smarter about dealing with this very important readiness issue. I'm proud to be on your team.
Hello, everyone. I am John Roth, Acting Secretary of the Air Force. I'd like to begin by saying that as a Department of the Air Force leadership team, we are grateful for the sacrifices you and your loved ones make to keep America safe.
As Airmen and Guardians, our success protecting the nation depends on our trust. Trust to execute the mission with the discipline and precision. Trust that your fellow Airmen and Guardians have your back. And trust that each member of our Air and Space Forces has the character to do what is right. It is because of you the U.S. military has remained one of America's most trusted and respected institutions for decades.
We know that the vast majority of Airmen and Guardians serve in accordance with the oath that they took to protect and defend the Constitution and to uphold our laws, policies, and maintain the highest standards at all times. Sadly, we are not immune to extremism in our ranks, and this extremist behavior erodes good order and discipline and is a threat to the trust and respect we've worked hard to build.
It has been exposed in recent events such as the insurrection on our nation's capital, and left unchecked would divide the cohesive teams we require to win. We cannot and will not tolerate extremist behaviors and ideologies. They go against the fundamental principles of the oath we all took when signing up to serve this great nation.
Eliminating extremism in our service is critical and by no means can be accomplished in a one-and-done engagement. We must all remain on the watch, united. Today, we need you to employ our values towards building a better department. We ask that you have the openness to share your experiences, engage in respectful, hard conversations, and listen to each other.
Find the gray areas in the guidance you've been given and help us ensure this policy is executable at the unit level. And after you've had those conversations, don't stop engaging with each other and upholding the core values in the profession of arms.
It is an enduring responsibility that requires constant attention. Service is a calling, one that sets us apart from other organizations and one that requires an unwavering commitment to each other, our values, the Constitution, and the motto that adorns the seal of the United States. E pluribus unum, out of many, one.
Thank you again for what you do every day. Only together, built on the foundation of trust and respect, can we make meaningful, lasting change. Extremism in any form has no part in it. We are proud of you and proud to serve with you as part of the world's greatest air and space forces. Thank you.
We all represent the U.S. Air Force and Space Force, but we each represent something beyond this country and beyond our service. We represent our parents, our children, our partners, our values, ourselves. The day you decide to serve isn't the day you give up who you are. It's the day you show who you are, and the day we become stronger for having you in our ranks. No matter your culture, your beliefs, your background, or who you identify as, one thing will always be true. You belong here. Our service is our common ground. It's an invitation to learn more about each other so that we can accept our differences with understanding and empathy. It should motivate us to make everyone feel like they belong. If we can put our lives in each other's hands on the front lines, we need to have each other's backs when we're home. No one's identity should ever be dismissed or disregarded. If we undermine each other, we undermine the very thing we serve. We all serve the same nation and fight for the same mission. We all joined for the same reasons: to serve our country, to provide for our families, to be a part of something bigger than ourselves so that we might become our best selves. But if we can't see the best in each other, we'll never be the best versions of ourselves. Our diversity is our strength. Our combined differences make us faster, better, and more powerful. Because we're different, we see what our enemies can't and have experienced what they won't. We have the advantage as long as we continue to work together. The Air Force and the Space Force are environments where everyone should be able to reach their full potential. We've come a long way, and we're making strides, but we're not there yet. So let's continue to build it more consciously. Let's open our minds and opportunities to more people. Let's be more willing to see each other, to hear each other, and to be curious about each other's perspectives. Inclusion is not the enemy of readiness. Division is. If we want to win as a team, we have to champion each other first. Welcome to the family. This Air Force and this Space Force are yours.
All right, so what did you think of that third video? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Right. All right, so this is how it's going to work. You heard from our leaders. Obviously, this is important. Since 6th January, because of the insurrection, they're looking at how our military and what is ingrained sometimes in what we have right now. They have found people that were active duty retirees, former service, that were all involved with the insurrection in the Capitol building. So now it's time to find out what we know. Everyone in the service at one point or another might have met somebody that had different views on what is acceptable. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a stand-down. We're going to be doing small group discussions here in the future within about the next week and a half. It's 100% participation, so everyone's going to be involved in a small group. I will be looking for facilitators, so if you're interested in facilitating these discussions, please contact me afterwards, and I will add your name to the list of ready facilitators for the other groups. But we're going to be talking about the importance of oath. Each of us, both military and civilian, have taken oaths to our country, but we have to make sure that we continue with that oath. We have to look at what causes a person to become an extremist. What makes a person think that it's acceptable to believe in certain ideas or ideology. And third, we have to also learn how to recognize it and how to report it properly to protect ourselves. The extremism in the military, as the Secretary of Defense said, it tears up the fabric of trust. Right? We have a mission to accomplish. We put billion-dollar spacecraft satellites into space, but to do that, we have to work as a team. And if you have somebody in the team that doesn't support your beliefs or doesn't want to help you, it can hurt the team as a whole. So we have to make sure we recognize these individuals and find a way to find a different, maybe a career for them if necessary. But that's something for somebody else. Any questions for me at this time? Yes, sir. Say again? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ronald Gonzalez, I'm on the Global EO Director. Gonzales. Yes, sir. Thank you. Other questions? All right, that's it for me. Thank you very much, and we will be talking soon.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. To wrap up today's event, I would like to hand things over to Mr. Craver.
All right, thanks, Ron. You know, a serious subject, something we need to get after on that. We're going to stand up our stand down day, like he was saying, and meet in small groups. Really appreciate the support of everyone to do that for our nation and our department. So I'd like to echo the words of Lieutenant Colonel James on the award winners and the decorations we gave out. It was my privilege to be able to stand up there with the chapel is doing such a great job and the museum on those decorations. If you haven't had a chance to go out to our museum, they have done some fantastic work since they've been here, and the Hangar C is just a magnificent display of our artifacts. They're transforming the museum, standing up a U.S. Space Force exhibit. Getting after years and years and years of inventories. It's just it's very special for me to be able to watch you guys work and do the things you do out there. Working with the volunteers and the foundation. I just wanted to give you my thanks for doing such an awesome job for something that's going to pay dividends for the next 100, 200 plus years, or longer. Really appreciate you preserving our history like that. All right, so I am going to get after our DOCs here and go over it for you. Please ask questions if you want. And then afterwards, we'll do a question and answer session on any subject that you want to do. Okay, so first of all, next slide. Let's see. We had a 38% take rate on the survey, which is about a third of our people. So keep that in mind as you're going through that. That's 2/3 of our organization didn't respond to the survey. So hopefully next year we can increase that. I know that it happened over the holidays, and it's in a COVID environment, so it was a little harder to do that. But still, 38%, believe it or not, is really good for the wing. It's one of the highest that they have. So thank you for filling out the survey. The bottom line is, our organization is healthy. And it's improving year over year, as you'll see in the data. And all of our assessments were either adequate or excellent. We didn't have any caution areas at all or needs improvement areas in our survey. So that's goodness for us. We can always improve and do better. But you'll see the numbers here on the next slide. As you can see, this started out in 2017 and works its way over to 2020. And you can see we've made improvements year over year, every year since 2017. So that's goodness for us. The areas that had the lowest area were the lowest category of people was our minorities. But that was not... They didn't have any needs improvement or caution areas. It was all adequate, and we even actually had excellent. So the difference between our categories was really not that much in that this one just happened to be the lowest. And that's the same with all of these as we go along. There wasn't a lot of differentiation between the lowest and the highest. But this is a watch item for us on this. The lowest categories were organizational process and commitment. And if you don't know what that is, commitment is the questions that were like, feel like family, job has personal meaning to you, sense of belonging. Those are the areas we probably need to improve in. And then the other one was organizational process, and that's making decisions after looking at the data, fair discipline, and programs for concerns. So those are typically areas we struggle with is discipline and treating the group like a family in that. Okay, next slide. Then we get into the EO and the SAPR area on here. Our lowest, again, was minorities and senior leaders, which is different this year, that senior leaders was in our lowest area. Our lowest categories was discrimination, inclusion at work. And as you can see, those were low year over year on that. And then our highest area was officers and supervisors, which we normally see in that, but we usually have the senior civilians in the highest as well. So there's something that's changed there that dropped them down into that. But when you only have 38% of your organization, it's a smaller group sample size. One or two people shifting can make a big difference in this type of data. All right, next slide. So last year we had about 350 comments on the DOCS. This year we had 50. Part of the reason for that is we asked less questions. So the DOCS was a little different in this area this year. And so we ended up with 50 questions. I just want to highlight, believe it or not, all of this is a summary of all the items that we had up here. So it should all represent what all the comments were, good, bad, or indifferent. So on this one here, this is for organizational effectiveness. We had 25 responses. Of that, 13 were positive, 9 were negative, and 2 I couldn't tell what they were trying to say in the comments, so I couldn't put them in anything there. But the pros were great leadership, effective organization, and treats people with dignity and respect. That was the gist of the positive comments there. And then the negatives were poor communication, poor computer capability, which I think we can all say that that's something that we need to get after and address. Lack of digital communications and support on that. Shift work, so think command post in that area, that people don't like to do shift work. And there was some telework comments that people don't like to telework in that. All right, next slide. This addresses the EO and SAPR comments. So I'll start with the EO. The pros on that were most comments were positive or had no issue type comments. We did have one comment on a female that offered up that she feels like an equal in the organization, and that she felt like leadership and the entire community supported her while she was pregnant and raising her child. So that was good feedback for us over time. And that it was a fun organization and that morale was high when it had not been in years prior. So negative, we did have one age discrimination comment in there. And then on SAPR, again, positives or no issues. And then a negative was that there was too much attention on the SAPR program, and that they were commenting on the fact that we probably overdo that. And then next slide. They had a generic comment section, of which we had 7 positives and 1 negative, and again another one that I couldn't tell whether it was negative or positive. And the positives on that were 100% fair and effective organization, outstanding organization, senior leadership was very positive, and a great place to work with great amenities. And then somebody wrote that it was the best leadership that they'd seen in their career. So pretty positive comments on that. We did have some negatives as well. Again, the telework came up. That they didn't feel as if they were effective in doing that by telework. So next slide. So the actions that we will take after this is we will continue quality of life events, trying to make the organization fun, trying to get the people to work with each other better, and improving the organization as much as we can. We bought 92 computers on end-of-year funding last year. We've distributed those. We've got another 1,400 computers we weren't expecting from the U.S. Space Force to come in. When they arrive, we will hopefully change out all of the rest of the computers on wing staff so that everybody has a new computer at their desk this year. So we should be getting after that. EO is going to perform a focus group to get after the discrimination comment that we had. It was pretty focused. We have an idea of where that might be in the organization since they self-identified their organization. So we're going to have some EO focus areas in there. And then telework. I wanted to get after that one. 40% of the non-mission essential people can come into the office and work. So if you have an employee that is complaining that telework is not for them, please, just bring them in. You don't need to have somebody at home teleworking that's miserable when I can have 40% in the office of non-mission essential work. So supervisors, look at that. If you've got people that need to be brought in, bring them in. Just, understand that we have to maintain about 40%. So if we start to get above that, which we are not, then we'll have to send some people that don't mind teleworking home to stay underneath that cap. But right now, we're meeting that cap pretty easily. On that, we got about 38% of our people in the office right now across wing staff. That's how I'm looking at it. I'm not doing it by organization, because we have organizations that have 2 people or 1 person. You can't really do 40% of that. So we're doing it at the 211 people. So 40% of the non-mission essential. Please just bring them in and do that. And then we're also moving towards digitally enhancing. Somebody was talking about how, we don't do a very good job of that. And so our General Purdy is really pushing for us to move to Platform 1. You probably heard about that in your staff meetings, where we're moving towards Confluence, Jira, Mattermost as new digital communication platforms, data sharing, and we're going to move more and more towards that. So if you could go ahead and get your Platform 1, account set up and log into Jira and Confluence and Mattermost, that'll just help our communications even more. And then eventually we'll start communicating through those items when we bring up enough people to make that effective. That's really all I had on the DOCS. Any questions? It's actually a pretty positive thing. There's not a whole lot to it when you really get down and look at it. A lot of positive comments, a few negatives that we need to get after. But I really appreciate those of you that took the survey and provided us that feedback. Any questions on the DOCS? All right, we'll move right into the questions, right? Questions. So if you have questions for me, if you have questions for the leadership team, we've got a lot of the directors here. If you have any questions at all, where are we headed in the future? What's the Space Force got for us? If we can answer it, we will answer it. Anybody got any questions? Everybody know that we're going to stand up a new Delta here in the next couple months, right? Next couple months, we're going to stand up. We're going to be the Space Launch Delta 45. 45th Space Wing will stand down. 2 of our groups will fold up their flag, the Ops Group and the Mission Support Group. And the Vice Commander position will stand down, and then we will replace it with 2 Vice Commanders, 1 for Ops and 1 for Support. Safety will become their own organization underneath General Purdy. We will still support you in that role, because I don't know if they're going to have a support staff or not. Any questions on that? Anybody else have anything to add?
But I know him and I both have open door policies, open email policies, whatever. Shoot us an email direct if you have any questions or concerns. I know from military side, we've been getting some questions on the PT testing. That's moving to July. Please be flexible. Obviously, our environment is ever changing. It's always changing, and things are dynamic. So just be ready to test. Be ready to take the PT test. If you have questions on that, you can let us know. Our UFPMs are putting together some good programs to help maybe get some people some ideas on how to stay in shape. That's TBD. That'll be coming down the pipe. But if you have any questions, Senior, myself, Shirt, Mr. Craver, we're all here to support you and answer any questions or concerns you may have in regards to anything that's on your mind. So, thank you.
All right. Well, I appreciate everything you do, and have a great day.